Today is Wednesday, the 4th of April, 2018. I'm Keith War, and welcome to another episode of Homeless in Titusville. And today I have an update video to bring you guys. You're often asking me for updates on a guy named Chad Simpson. Chad did an interview in June of 2015, I believe, so almost 3 years ago. You look a whole lot different now, Chad.
Yeah, I do.
You had a buzz cut, a couple of black eyes.
Yeah.
A story about how you got the black eyes taken up for a guy named Roach, of all names.
Yeah.
Roach. Would you ever think that you would have gotten black eyes taken up for a guy named Roach?
Never thought that.
No.
Never.
Oh, so in that video, you were quite raw, you were quite honest. You talked about how you'd done some horrible things to your aunt, you'd stolen from her, like you really burned some bridges, and you were stealing from Walmart, and just horrible.
Well, I hadn't stolen from my aunt. I had stolen from my mother-in-law.
Well, I thought you'd ask your aunt for money, and you kept telling you'd pay her back, but
Yeah.
you never, like you kind of knew that you never would. And,
Well, I asked her for money, but she was too smart. She didn't give it to me. Hey, Mickey.
Okay. So what is that relationship like today with her?
We have a real good relationship. She's actually told me to come live with her as long as I don't have any warrants this time.
Right.
Last time I had the police buzzing around her house like a beehive.
Right. And the reason you're in Florida right now is not only for an update.
I just got out of jail.
So here's kind of what happened when you were here 3 years ago. You did the interview with me. Obviously people know you'd got out of jail, so on and so forth, and you had some charges from that incident.
Mm-hmm.
And those, because like most Americans, you don't have the financial means to hire a private attorney to have them take care of the charges and so on, and so you were kind of just living your life best you could, laying low.
Yeah.
And you just kind of had a random traffic stop. They ran your name and
Ran my name and
got arrested.
Got arrested and had to come down here and take care of what I was running from.
Yeah.
And now I feel a lot better. Feel a whole lot better.
So what is the outcome? Like, what did they do? Do you get probation? Are you going to jail?
I come on vacation and I'm leaving on probation.
Oh, well, hey, that's the Florida way.
Yeah.
So how long are you going to be on probation for?
They gave me 3 years, but as long as I do the terms like I'm supposed to do, which I know I can and I know I will, I should get early termination within 1.5 to 2 years. So I'm planning on going back to North Carolina, doing what I got to do, changing my life. Again, I've done this before, and I just plan on setting my mind to doing what I need to do, because I need to do it.
Yeah.
And I need to stay away from dope.
Yes. And also the other thing I wanted to ask you about, in the video you said that your grandmother was ill at the time and you wanted to see her, I guess, before she passed on.
And I did see her when I went back to Winston.
Is she still living?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
okay.
she
Well,
is.
that's good. That's good.
And I need to go see her. Actually, I want to. My grandpa, Max Simpson, he died when I was incarcerated, and I didn't get to go to his funeral, and I really hate I missed that. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Real good guy.
Do your grandparents watch YouTube? Have they seen you on YouTube?
My grandparents?
Yes.
Well, actually, my grandparents on my dad's side, both of them were passed away. The Max Simpson, that was my dad's dad. So my grandma had already passed, and then he passed while I was incarcerated. So
But did grandma know you did a YouTube video with me?
No, she had already passed previously.
Well, the one that was still alive, you said there was one that was still alive.
She's got dementia, so she
okay.
wouldn't even know if I done one.
So
But I know
she got the lunch.
But I know she'd be proud. She's always proud of me, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
But
So tell me a little bit. You were saying you gotta stay away from dope. When you say dope, what are we talking?
I'm talking about methamphetamines.
Methamphetamines. Yeah.
And I don't even think I'm addicted to the dope. I'm addicted to the lifestyle. And I mean, people that do dope, they know what I'm talking about. A lot of people know what I'm talking about. And it can take over your life, and it can make your life a living hell. I've seen it do it to a lot of people, or people in jail. I mean, I just got out of jail. I've seen a lot of people looking at, 5 to 10 years for stuff they're doing to support their habit, and they've done burn all their bridges.
Yes.
The people that love them, they don't, they're scared of them. They don't want them around. I don't want to be that person. So I mean, I'm going to make I'm going to do my best when I get back, and I got to do my best, because if I don't do my best, I'm going to prison, and I don't want to go to prison.
Right.
At all.
Right.
I really don't want to go to prison.
And I don't want you to go to prison. And listen, I know that there are people out there that are going to watch my videos and they're going to say, look, anything somebody who gets arrested, they deserve it, and so on and so forth. I am telling you that I got a little taste of the prison systems, Department of Corrections, if you will, in this country today. I saw a counselor that was literally foaming at the mouth. It was the most bizarre thing. Like, the guy was probably close to 60, like he was a rabid dog.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. One of the probation officers was talking to the people like they were children and disrespectful.
Yeah, there are some probation officers that are out to get you, and then there are some that just want to see you do good. There are some good probation officers. The one that's
what I saw today, you lucked out, because the other ones that were in there, they were awful, horrible, miserable people. And I will tell you that our justice system is not really about rehabilitation. It is about vengeance and punishment. It is not about forgiveness. It is not about changing your life. And so it's not.
And one thing really about Florida, it's about money. This state right here is the worst state that I've ever seen. They don't want to rehabilitate. They want to warehouse, and they want to make money.
Yes.
I mean, they won't let you plea out on your first appearance. I mean, in North Carolina, where I'm from, you can waive your right to an attorney, and you can go ahead and plea out, so you can get your time started or go ahead and get a plea deal. Here, they want you to get an attorney, sit in jail for a month or two, and then they want you to go to court. And then you might not even get a plea deal whenever you go, so you're going to sit even longer. And then some of those charges might not even stick, so you're sitting there doing all that time for what?
Yes, let's talk about a phenomenon known as perjury, right? So if you go to court and you lie, you can get charged with perjury. Okay, yeah. But there's a thing known as state-sanctioned perjury. That's where you are charged with one thing, the prosecutor comes with you in a plea bargain. A plea bargain is basically state-sanctioned lying. That's what it is, because you're pleading to something that you didn't do to get out of something that you did.
And that's basically what I had to do. I had to plea out just so I could get out of jail. Because, I mean, the battery they had on me was an F3, which is the lowest felony you can get, but I had to plea out on it. I've never had a felony in my life, but I had to plead to that felony just so I could get out of jail and get probation. Because I didn't want to sit in the penal system anymore. That's what I call it, a penal system.
Yes.
It's just you're living in a whole different world whenever you're in there. You got guys getting in fight over sandwiches, over milks, this over stupid stuff,
Yeah.
It's crazy. And that's what, and then they got this, they leave you in there for a year. If you got a year, you got to sit in county, and there's no yard time, there's no programs, there's no nothing in there for nobody. They sit in there and they rot, and they just become bitter people.
I think people should check out some of the documentaries about prisons, especially in Germany. When we think of Germany, usually Adolf Hitler comes to mind. And look at the prisons in Germany there about rehabilitation. People have carpet in their room and wallpaper, and like they treat them like human beings, and they really are trying to rehabilitate instead of warehousing them.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, like, what did you do all day in jail? I think when some people think about, like, you're being made a better person, like there's rows of desks and there's a nun in there and they're making you write, "I will not steal my neighbor's car," 1,000 times. But really, it's not that. It's just idle time, playing cards, checkers, chess.
And everybody's in there fighting for the same thing. They're fighting for their freedom. I mean, that's one thing that all of them have in common. But it only takes that one thing. It only takes somebody to have a bad day or have a bad dream, or things just get to them that day, and this one thing can just spark. I've seen guys get hit in the head and have a brain aneurysm. I heard about one guy, he got slammed and got his collarbone broke and had a seizure and pretty much messed on himself. And I mean, they're turning into animals in there. They're not even human anymore. You turn into an animal in there.
His life is ruined because of the injuries, and the guys who did it to him, they originally meant just to rough him up a bit, but now their lives are totally changed, and they're going to be
charges.
Yeah. I think, like I said, there's a lot of people who are of the mindset of, well, you put yourself in that position, but there are things that happen in life that look, I've never been arrested. I haven't been in trouble, but you and I were talking. Most of the people you saw in there were in there because of mental illness, which would include drug addiction and poverty. We don't see people like Donald Trump and his children sticking up a local 7-Eleven because they have enough food on their table at night to feed themselves.
He's spending more money on the wall on Mexico than spending money on rehabilitation. I mean, he's worried about some Mexicans crossing the border. I mean, no matter what kind of wall you build, I mean, they've been going over it, under it, and through it. I mean, this whole time, I don't know what he thinks the wall is going to do.
Oh, and we send billions to Afghanistan and this and that. Meanwhile, we have veterans on our streets that are homeless. We have people like you who really, one of my viewers saw in you that you deserved a second chance. She sent me that money. She didn't know me.
And I would like to say something to her because she stayed anonymous, but God bless you because you saved my life. You really did. You saved my life. And I know you want to stay anonymous, but I would really like to know who you are and give you thanks for what you did. You saved my life that day. When I got out of here.
Yeah. I have to ask you, when I first asked you to do an interview about being homeless, did you think to yourself, this is nuts? Like, are you serious? Like, did you think I was serious?
I thought you had an alternative motive, because I didn't know you. You pulled up and you were like, let's go do an interview. And then you were like, we're going to this park. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know what was going on. So, and then we go down here and we did the interview. And like, you checked on me daily. And every day I was slipping a little bit further, and you would come and you would check on me every day.
And I made sure you had food.
That's what gave me that little bit of hope is what carried me through to get that bus ticket, to get back home and get where I needed to be. Even though I still didn't go take care of what I needed to take care of, but I eventually did after the cops come and looked for me at my sister's, at my friend's house, and all that. But eventually I took care of it. I ended up calling the police on myself. I went and got a ID for a job. I was working for a moving service in Winston-Salem, and I had just got the ID the day before, and we were off the next day. So I walked to a store, and I was walking back, and I seen a probation parole car outside my aunt's apartment. So the next thing I did was I called my cousin, Sophia. Hey, Sophia. And she was pregnant. So I was like, hey, has anybody knocked on the door? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay. I said, well, unlock the door. I'm on my way. And, I'm getting ready to come through the door. Well, I was walking towards the apartment, and that's when I noticed the agent looking through the sliding glass window with his gun drawn. And then I just kind of, I was on the phone with her, and I was like, oh, no, they're there for me. And as soon as I've been in a corner, I took off. And then I went back. Dumb me, I have no sense. I went back to my hometown where I had the warrants from, and they surrounded my sister's house. They were looking for me. They didn't catch me, but eventually I turned myself in, and it was mostly because all the hurt I seen on my aunt's face, because she was really hurt and worried about me. And I went and I remember I cashed my check. She works at a bank, so I went there, I cashed my check, and I started walking down the road. I bought a pack of cigarettes. I started smoking the cigarettes, and I picked up my cell phone. I probably only had like 5% of charge left on my phone, and I called Forsyth Police on myself and told them my name. I told them my name. I told them I had warrants. I told them what street I was on, and I sat down on the sidewalk, and they come and got me. And
that had to have been really tough.
It was tough, but they pretty much made it where I didn't have anywhere else to go. I told my boss man, what was going on, and we had a job that we were supposed to go to Nevada for, and he basically told me, he said, look, he said, Chad, I'll take you. He said, I will take you to the jail and turn you in. He said, you need to get this over with. It's 120 days, but me, I've never done any jail time. At that time, I'd never done any jail time, so I was scared to death. I was like, oh man, I don't want to go to jail. And he was like, well, you're not going to work until you take care of it. So that gave me even more reason to go get it took care of.
So where are you with your life today, now that, like you said, that woman gave you a second chance?
She gave me a second chance, and I got a second chance today. I could have fought the charges, but when you get your freedom took, it becomes a very precious thing to you, because you don't know how precious freedom is until you get it took away. Yeah. And when you get that freedom took away, and you're having somebody tell you what to do and when to do it and everything else, it's like, why am I doing drugs on the outside whenever I could be out there and living right? And instead, I'm sitting in here because I want to live wrong. And it's just like, what for? And it's not worth it at all. It's not. And I plan on going back home and doing my probation like I'm supposed to, and hopefully I can get back in my kids' life. I mean, I really miss.
Yes.
I haven't seen them in 2 years, and I'd really like to see them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna work hard and show everybody else that I'm working hard towards getting there and seeing my kids.
And I want to mention one other thing. You thought you had a little more money. It turns out you had right around the $300 area. But let's talk about what would have happened had you and I not run into each other 3 years ago, because you and I discussed it, and we discussed some of the fees. Like, for instance, it would have cost you probably roughly $100 to spend in a hotel last night.
Yeah.
You had 48 hours to
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had a ride. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. Thank God for this guy.
Yeah, because I was there at 3 o'clock in the morning last night at the jail.
I wasn't worried to death, but I was worried. I was like, it's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, and there's a couple people that didn't have a ride out there that night, you know, and I mean, this guy, he did what he said. He said, Chad, I'll be there whatever time you call me, I'll be there, and he was there.
Yeah. But let's talk about that money. So for instance, you would have spent it on a hotel, then you would have spent it on a cab or an Uber to get to the probation to turn in today. You would have had to feed yourself, and then you would have been broke. You would have had no money to get home. And you and I discussed how you said if it weren't for me intervening and helping you, you would have really seriously thought about running again, because you would have only had enough money to get yourself back home to North Carolina again and start this whole revolving door over,
and
like this nightmare.
That's what the jail system is. It's a revolving door for them people that don't have the help, or you know, they don't have, you know, the resources outside. I mean, just a simple phone call or letter can change that person's whole day in jail. I mean, just to know that there's somebody out there that cares about them.
Yeah.
You know, and I thank God for my brother and my sister and my girlfriend and all the people, you know, that kept money on the phones, that sent me packages in there. I mean, all that just made a difference. I mean, without shampoo and conditioner, what would I do with this hair?
Right. Well, and you know that people love you, you know, like you are worth it. You know, you're getting these breaks.
Everybody's worth it.
Yes.
There's not a human life out there that's not worth saving.
But I want you to know, you personally, you, Chad Simpson, deserve.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you got another break because somebody just happened to cancel their seat on the Greyhound tonight, so that he can go home tonight instead of tomorrow. I mean, it's only a delay of 24 hours.
My brother called. He said, hey, you got your job back. He said, as soon as I get back, go in there. They got my job. I mean, I'm a good worker, you know. I mean, I've been in furniture manufacturing for all my life, but I mean, and then I work with good people. So, I mean, I'm excited about getting back to my job. And
so you told me you go to church, you've got a relationship with your brother and sister, you're employed, and you're working towards a relationship with your kids. So it sounds to me like you're really on a good path, you know, to you know, doing what you got to do.
I just have to stay the course. I just have to stay the course, and hopefully I can do that. It's hard to do it in my small town, because there's traps everywhere. It just takes one wrong step, and you step in that snare, and then it grabs you, and that's it. But
So, do you have any advice for anybody? Is there anybody you want to say hi to? Is there anybody or anything that we haven't talked about that you wanted to talk about, or something you wanted to get off your chest?
Just say no. Stay away from drugs. Love the people you got around you, because they're not going to be there all the time. And be true to yourself most of all, because, I mean, you can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You cannot lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself all day, but it ain't going to do you no good. At all.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, look, I appreciate you catching up with us. I hope that if you do catch up in the future, it will be of your own free will and accord, that you will be here like on vacation or something.
Back. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be coming back. It's going to be a little bit.
Not courtesy of the Department of Corrections, though.
Yeah, and your cat kept me up all night, so I'll be coming back at staying in a motel.
Okay, man. All right, well, cool, man. Thanks for doing the interview, and you guys got this update, and I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.